Hello everyone, I'm Paul Ferguson. With me is Richard Beaupre. Welcome once again to World Championship Ice Hockey from Turku in Finland. Today we concentrate on places 5 to 8 in the Group A competition. No medals, no relegation, just old-time hockey and national pride.
The Czechs are coming in missing a lot of players, and they are a bit beat up. They've got injury problems, and the Germans have been improving steadily as this tournament has gone on.
That'll be our first match, Czechoslovakia against Germany, but stay with us later on this evening, 2400 hours Central European time, 23 UK time, Finland against the Swiss, and the Swiss are fast improving.
The Finns in front of their home crowd could be up against it as the Swiss are improving as well.
The Finns topping the bottom of the table with 9 points. The Czechs are right behind them with 6. The Swiss are there, and the Germans are struggling.
The Germans are in trouble, but the Czechs at this moment are in more trouble. Their numbers are getting smaller, and they've got a lot of players nursing problems and injuries.
So both teams will have their work cut out today. Let's take a look at the leading scorers in the tournament. Curry is there, Pavel Bure, Sundin, and Makarov. But right behind them, Christian Ruutu, Valery Kremensky, Alexei Zamnov, Jeremy Ronek, and Mika Niemann, all familiar names.
The two top scorers are the experienced Curry, who the home supporters love, and Pavel Bure, the kid from Russia.
Well, the Czechs are out there getting around Svoboda. Let's see what they have in their lineup. Brise, an outstanding goaltender. Ulrich Svoboda is there too. Smelik, always strong on defense, improving every time out. Medvedik is there. Serban, one of my favorites, plays on the power play and kills penalties. Slager, big shot from the blue line. Musil, when he's out on the ice, he's good.
Russell up front, the experienced right winger. Dolezal and Volek are good ones. Volek with NHL experience. Zemlichka, a tireless worker. Lubina never stops going, very aggressive forechecker. Kolnick plays it tough on the left wing and has a good shot. In the center spot, Kuchera is very clever, number 14. Tupal, Baranek, and Robert Hollick, very experienced centers. Hollick plays with the Hartford Whalers in the NHL.
Baranek had trouble buying a goal last time out. What can he do today? Well, we'll see. The Germans will start with Pepi Heiss in goal. He was outstanding last time out. He's got backup from Klaus Merck. For corner, Kiesling is 35, but he's playing like a 25-year-old. He looks really sharp. Wagner's been good too. Schmidt is very tough on defense. Niederberger has the good shot. He's physical in the corner, likes to set up the play with the long shot.
Up front, the Germans have got potential. They've struggled a bit on the goal scoring, but Trunchka is one to watch, number 14. Kammerer is a very experienced player, and the classiest forward on this German team is probably Dieter Hagen, number 23. He is very clever, always dangerous. Nastor and Schertz have come over from East Germany to join the side. Thomas Brandl, number 7, nursing a shoulder injury, but he'll be out there. Dreisaitl's got a bad cold. Berwanger and Rumrich may have to pick up the pieces in the center spot.
It'll be an interesting one. A lot of plaster, a lot of smelling salts for both teams, but they're out there. The Germans will play from right to left. Don Adam, the American, is the referee. Ingman and Rautuvori are the Finnish linesmen.
Germany's the home.
Don Adam talking to the scorekeeper there, checking out who's at home and who's doing what as he gets set for this face-off. Face-to-face, they've played 35. The Czechs have won 28, 3 tied, and the Germans have won 4. 211 goals for the Czechs scored, 58 for the Germans, so the Germans really need to do something today to bring that average a little closer.
The Czechs have struggled with their goal scoring so far in the tournament. They've given up 19 goals and they've only scored 19, so they'll be looking to improve that as well.
Dieter Hagen dropping it off on the hash marks, and the Germans really need to pull something together here. It's Trunchka picks it up at the blue line. They've been getting a lot of stick from the press and from their fans back in Germany. They're not too impressed with some of the guys who didn't show up, and they're not impressed with their performance so far. Baranek coming down on the left wing, takes a shot. The save is there by Heiss. That's cleared away to Trunchka, and he starts back up the ice for Germany. As I said, there's nothing to play for here except personal and national pride. No team will be relegated. 4 from Group B are coming up to join the 8 teams in Group A next year, so they have 12 teams in the competition. That's an offside call here in the first period.
Look at Coach Nevesley on the bench. He's got his share of problems. Gudaz has gone out with an ankle injury. Delana's got a shoulder problem. And very questionable about how much ice time Reichel will see. The star with the Calgary Flames injured his knee in the game the other day. It's very questionable.
You know, Richard, they're talking about not allowing some players from the NHL to come over here because they're afraid they're going to get injured and the insurance premiums are very high. Well, there's a good example. Nieuwendyk was here last year, the Calgary player. He got a knee injury. Now it's Reichel. I'm sure that Calgary are going to start thinking twice about this if they start losing players.
Well, they certainly are. They've lost the Czech player Reichel, as we mentioned. They've got about 4 or 5 of their players that are with the Canadian team right now, McCown, Fleury and company. They don't want to lose any of them.
All the way down the ice. And Svoboda clears it into the corner. He'll be happy with that touch. Gets him into the game. Luck skates over the red. A long shot. Goes way upstairs into the crowd. Comes off Pokorny. And this gives me a good opportunity to pay a little tribute to a colleague of mine, Frans Heinrich, the Dutch commentator on Eurosport. He was awarded by the International Ice Hockey Federation the Press Award for 42 years service. Congratulations to Frans Heinrich. He really does deserve it. Along the boards, the Germans working it off as Wagner. Get a little help there from Hilger. Hilger going in on the backhand side. Hilger right in front. The pass came up, was picked off by Hollick, and he starts down the left wing. Hollick, a 2-on-2 break. Serban breaks to the net. The trailer comes in. The shot, that's in the net. Bolek was right there, and Pepe Heist didn't even move.
The Czechs really pressing the play, coming down the ice. 100 miles an hour. Serban going to the goal. Hollick holds up with his pass. There's 19. Bolek coming to the net. You can see Bernd Wagner going down to try and block this pass. It goes off his stick. Heist just doesn't know where it is. He stands completely still. Doesn't have a clue.
Pepe Heist looks like he's posing for a picture out there. He didn't see that at all. It was just bobbling through the air. He was looking the other way. And that's a great start for the Czechs. Icing is the call, and we'll have a face-off at the far end of the rink. Not a good start for Germany.
Doesn't matter how they go in, they all count. David Volek will collect the goal. Another Czech player who has gone across the ocean to gain valuable international experience, plays with the New York Islanders.
Rumrik goes into the face-off circle. Tupal loses out, and that's pushed along the boards. The break now with Kolnick getting it to the far side. The shot, that's in the net! Zemlichka let go a rocket, and the Czechs are on fire.
As the crowd is starting to get comfortable in their seats, they're given reason to stand up and cheer a bit. Great shot from Zemlichka. Heist once again slow to react, but that is a bullet right in the top corner. Nice goal. Heist never really moves until it's past him. I'm sure they're going to put some oil under his left arm and try and get it moving a bit, because he's going to be seeing a lot of shots coming his way.
Well, the Czechs really do mean business here in the first period. Tipped in by Beranek. Beranek working his way out front. The far side, that one's in the net! Petr Rosso makes it 3. Beranek did some good work there, but Rosso finished it off.
Petr Rosso, the 26-year-old veteran who's always in the right place at the right time. Good playmaking from Beranek. Russell's camped out on the side of the goal. Has one crack at it. There's Beranek coming around. Russell's wide open on the far side. Hits the side of the net. Bangs it in the second time. Not a German defenseman within 5 feet of him.
Well, you've got to think about Pepe Heist and his confidence right now. I'm not saying he was to blame on all of them, as Kuchera is taken out of the play. Kiesling doing a great job, working right in. The shot over the top by Smelik. But you got to feel sorry for Pepe Heist. He really hasn't had a chance to make a save out there, and his confidence must be shaken. Zemlichka along the boards. It's going to be tough for the goaltender to bring himself into this game. Pokorny tries to scoot that away. Pollock to Zemlichka. He takes a hit from Brandl. And Brandl brings it out with just a little over 3 minutes on the first period gone. A great start for Czechoslovakia. Svoboda bounces that off the boards. And the Czechs now breaking with force. They really are playing with confidence here in the first period. Over the line is Volek.
The Germans in all kinds of trouble. The veteran Kiesling doing anything he can do to get the puck out of the zone. This time directs it right at the net.
Iri Schläger tipping that forward nicely to Tupal. Let's correct that and say Hollick. Hollick got it in. The Czechs whiz it right across the goal. Not a lot of movement from the Germans in front of their own goal. Now they're starting to play a bit more aggressively as Wagner to Berwanger. Berwanger got it down and Lubina taps it up along the boards. Hilger is there to help out for Germany. That goes to the far side. High sticking is going to be the call.
As the play went away from the boards on the right side, Don Adam kept his eye on what was going on over there. Slager came together with his man and came up with a high stick. There it is along the right boards. Take a look for yourself. Pretty innocently banged together. Slager's stick is up relatively high. Don Adams says, "You've got the penalty." The Germans desperately need to do something. They've got a man advantage. They've got to pull a goal back and wake up. The Czechs are skating at will and doing exactly what they want to do right now. They're making it look easy, and they're just going through the motions, cruising against the Germans.
Draisaitl gets that one back against Tupal. Schmidt to the far side. The return pass to Schmidt. Draisaitl, who is nursing that cold, seems to be okay out there. Schmidt to the red line. Draisaitl gets it to the far side. Niederberger fires that along the boards. Dieter Hagen goes after it in the corner. Draisaitl eventually picks it up. Draisaitl being shadowed on the boards, and that eventually comes back to Schmidt. Back to Draisaitl. The Czechs keeping the box in place. Schmidt to Draisaitl again. Pumps it into the corner. Looking for the wraparound. That comes back to the blue line. The shot comes in there. That takes a deflection. Dieter Hagen along the boards now. Hagen waltzes right in. Gets it to Draisaitl. Draisaitl on the back of the goal. Getting it back into the far corner. Schmidt wants it over here. Niederberger picks it up. Niederberger now. Schmidt takes the shot. The deflection. That came out to the far side. Tupal for Czechoslovakia with 42 seconds on the Czech penalty. Shoots it all the way down the ice. Schmidt will go deep. Kiesling is out there. A quick change of personnel for the Germans. 27 seconds on the penalty. 5:37 gone on the period. Kopp dropping it back to Brandl. That's too far for anyone, and Pokorny picks it up. Some lax play by the Germans as Kopp squeezes through along the boards and then drops it back for Brandl. It's too far for him, and Kiesling puts it in. Fires it in to Kopp, back to Brandl. To Kiesling, right on the blue, they kept it in. Brandl took the shot. Kammerer pressed against the boards by Smelik. Kopf is there to help out. Brandl takes a hit, can't control it, and Slager picks it up. Slager back on the ice, and the Czechs are back at full strength as they break down the left wing. Waiting for support was Russell, who got that all the way back to Labina. Labina drops it into the corner. The Czechs now working it out nicely. Labina gets the return pass, sees no option but to shoot it in, and Hilger gets it for Germany. Hilger trying to get around one man, he does, and that's flipped into the zone. Svoboda gives it a little tip, and Musil, who leads the table in penalties, gets it to the far side. Hollick got the tip on it, and that went high. Welcome back to the first period. Yes, that's the score. Czechoslovakia 3, Germany 0, with just 7 minutes gone in the period.
Czechs have come out quickly and totally dominated the game. They've got control and they're looking very much in charge of things on the ice.
Raymond Hilger brought that over the line and ran into a nest of red shirts out there. The Czechs, look at them getting back. 5 guys within a few feet of the blue line. That's what it's all about, says Marcus Berwanger went offside, 1 step ahead of the puck. I was about to say that's what it's all about. Back checking, two-way hockey, Hagen to Schmidt. To the far side to Niederberger. These guys are going to see a lot of ice out there. They're the big two. Reznicek flips it around the boards. Dieter Hagen puts it in the corner. Trunchka, Hagen looking for Draisaitl. This is the big line for Germany. Nothing comes of it there as number 26, Kolnick, takes the chop and lets that ride all the way down the ice. Niederberger for Germany picks it up and goes with it all the way up to the red line. Trunchka handed that off and Niederberger shot it around the boards. Petr Rossel, the goal scorer, slams on the brakes. Oh, a dangerous pass, but he gets away from it, or away with it. Zemlik right in front. Zemlik got the shot away on the backhand side. Trunchka's in there to help out, but the Czechs still have possession. Some good work from Beranek as he moves that along the boards. Schmidt out of the zone, and the Czechs will have to go deep for this one.
The Germans are still in all kinds of trouble, desperately trying to get the puck out of their own zone. They aren't putting together any kind of a breakout. They're just dumping it and hoping it gets over the blue line and somebody can get to it. A lot of movement from the Czechs in the neutral zone. This one just offside, but the idea is right. Try and get the German defense to keep backing off. They're really using the ice to their advantage, the Czechs are right now. Sometimes that can happen, Paul, when a team gets a few injuries. The guys that are left really pick up the pieces and seem to pull it together a lot harder than they would have normally.
Well, the Czechs are annoyed that they're not in the medal round. That round now is reserved for the Swedes, Russians, the Canadians, and the Americans. They're fighting out for gold, silver, and bronze, and right now it's pride at stake as the teams fight it out at the bottom of the table. Brandl is poke-checked at the last minute. Zemlichka picks it up. 9 minutes gone. Zemlichka goes to his favorite position on the left wing. Zemlichka flips it into the corner, spins Pokorny around and beats him to it. Kuchera picks it up for the Czech side. Into the corner to Zemlichka. Locke is there to help out to the far side, and the whistle blows. And Brandl is having words with Adam.
Brandl's having a go at Adams. I'm sure it has nothing to do with his cold. He's not telling him about that, but not happy. A lot of action in front of the net. Kuchera and Brandl having a go at each other. A look at Brandl in the penalty box. The Cologne forward. He's played well for his side. He's a good center. Does a lot of work.
Wagner. He's out there with Hilger. The long pass into the neutral zone is nice. That comes off of Renche. He gets it over to the far side, and Renche, who doesn't see a lot of action, is getting a turn out there now. Up on the wing, and the Czechs now. The long shot. Polek, the rebound is right there. And Adam is waving that one off. The whistle had blown.
Once again, the play is all at Heiss. Nice glove save. Drops it for just a second. Whistle had already gone. The Czechs very alertly pounced on the puck, but it's too late. The whistle's gone. Now he drops the puck. Everybody's having a dig at it. The Czechs seem very aggressive. We haven't seen this intensity from them so far in the tournament, but they really seem to be putting it together.
Coming in on the short side, there's Tupou. This time, Pepe Heiss gets in front of it. Tupou is destined for Swiss ice hockey next year along with Dolana. That's the rumor in Turku, Finland anyway. And that seems to be a problem that the Czechoslovakian Ice Hockey Authority Federation are trying to overcome. They're losing players at a rate of knots. That's put right in front. The shot is right out front from Tupou. Cleared to the top of the circle. Zmelik. Zmelik takes the shot. Heiss is there. The rebound comes out. Kolnick picks it up. Pumps it in behind the boards. Schmidt now for Germany to Dieter Hagen. Hagen, one too many moves there, loses it to Tupou. Draisaitl bounces that off the official. The shot comes in from a sharp angle. Kolnick got a piece of that, but again, Heiss was called on to make the save.
Kolnick and Tupou have got the Germans in all kinds of trouble. The two of them are really doing an excellent job in the offensive zone. The Germans can't do anything to get the puck out.
I was saying, Richard, that the Czechs are losing their young stars. They have trouble keeping them in the league, and it's all about playing for money. They're going to the NHL, they're going to Italy, they're going to Switzerland. That's going to be difficult for the Czech Federation to overcome.
Well, they're no different than players from any other country. They see a contract offer, an agent approaches them. If they can go, they're going.
Cook right in on goal, is poked out of the play. Musil brings him down. Play continues. There's going to be a penalty on the plate. Behind the goal, the Germans with Kiesling pumping it in. The touch there from Schleger. And Cook was signaling to Don Adam, the referee, that he wants a penalty shot. Musil is in there for yet another penalty, and he knows that this was a professional foul. This is the kind of thing he had to do. The last-minute hook.
Ernst Kuff keeping the legs going through the defense. An excellent job from him as he's got Schleger beat. Musil's coming back on him. There's the hook. He really puts it in there. Kuff goes flying. Musil goes to the penalty box. He's just keeping his stats up, Paul. That gives him 24 minutes in penalties now. He leads the tournament in penalty minutes.
A chance now for Germany. They have the man advantage. Coming in, Dieter Hagen. Hagen is still with the puck. Hagen being shadowed on the plate. Brings it to the near side of the rink, slows it down. Giving it to Kopp, back to Hagen. He fakes the shot, almost took too long on it. Kiesling pumps it into the corner, gets the return pass.
Brandl and Kuchera return to the ice. 5-on-4 now. The Germans will have a power play.
So Brandl picks it up right away as he steps out of the box. Took a lot of time on the puck. And that's one of the problems right now. The Germans aren't reacting instinctively. They're taking a lot of time thinking about it a bit too much. And Kopp is the man who can do something about it as he moves in. Gets it over to Reznicek. That's cleared out along the boards.
Well, the Germans are 5-on-4 now. They had a 4-on-3 until the other two players returned, and they made nothing of it. Those situations, you've got to use the ice and really skate, move the puck.
Volek working with Luck. Both of them lose out, and that comes out to the blue line. 46 seconds on the penalty. Musil is in there. Niederberger gets it up on the blue. Niederberger, the return pass, works his way in, takes the shot. The save is there. Svoboda did the juggling act, but came up with the save.
Niederberger stepping up from his blue line spot. Good wrist shot. A nice reaction from Svoboda. Makes the initial save, bobbles it for a second, but recovers. Assistant coach Kuhnhackl, a once German star when he was a player himself, knows what it's like to be on the other side of that bench. Would desperately like to see his team come up with a win.
Germans trail by 3 here in the first period. They have the man advantage just for a few more seconds. That comes back to Wagner. He pops it into Hilger. Verwanger takes a swipe at it. all the way around to the far side, and the Germans will. Wagner started out again, 18 seconds on the penalty. A nice little move there at center. And Svoboda gets the touch with 11 seconds on the penalty. Wagner again keeps it in. He's doing a great job on the blue to keep the puck from going over the blue line. This time he can't do anything about it as Schlager gets it out. Newsel steps on the ice, and the Czechs are back at full strength.
Czechs are very good at killing the penalties out. They've only allowed one power play goal against them in the whole tournament so far.
Hilger to the far side. Baranek shot it away. Dolezal moves towards the net. Rossel gives it up. It's a break right in on goal, and a great save by Pepe Heiss. Rossel helped set that up. The Germans with Rossel all over them right on the red line. Rossel doing a great job of playing two-way hockey out there. Baranek also helping out on the forechecking. Draisaitl kicks that along the boards and then is dumped. Medrick gets out and pumps it to the far side. Rossel drops it off. Some clever play here from the Czechs as they throw the puck around with ease, with confidence. Trunchka gets it over, but there's no one with a white shirt on to pick it up. The dummy went too far. Kokonai goes in for that one. Has to back off quickly as Rossel picks it up and waits for support. Rossel drops it back over his own blue line. Schlager just getting on the ice. Both teams trying to get a change. Schlager now taps it behind the goal. Being shadowed by Trunchka. Kiesling fanned on that completely. Kokonai dumped it in. The delayed offside is in effect here. So the Germans have to come out of the blue line before they can go back in. Being shadowed there by Kammerer. Zemlichka into the zone. Kuchera goes in after it. Brandl is all over him. That comes right out front. Kammerer couldn't get a handle on that. Rossel taken out of the plate. O'Connor doing a great job. Trunchka now, a 2-on-1 break. Trunchka gets it right out front. The shot comes, and the save is there. Svoboda on Brandl. The batting from Brandl, just like a baseball player, flew by the net. Trunchka picks it up, tries to get it out front. Brandl takes the shot. And again, we see the referee wave it off. No goal. Brandl thought he had one there. They're all around the Czechoslovakian goal. We're going to take a short break. The Czechs lead this one 3-0. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Turku in Finland. The Czechs lead this one 3-0, still in the first period. And the action really is intense. A lot of stuff around the Czechoslovakian goal, with Brandl having several opportunities, swinging at that puck like a baseball bat, trying to put it in any way he knows how.
The play got tough in front of the Czech goal. Kammerer retaliated after being pounded down in front of the net. He got caught on the retaliation, and he's in the box for roughing.
Lubina being shadowed by Pokorny. Brings it out over the blue on the second attempt. Gets it over on the wing. There's no one there except Kiesling. Kiesling can't keep it. Volek loses control of it, and that goes into the far corner. Zmelik to Serban. Zmelik. These two work well together on the defense. Serban now over the blue. A pass over the red. Lubina coming in on the right side. Right in front, the tip is there. Nothing came of that. The power play continues as that comes all the way down to Zmelik. Volek takes the shot, the rebound. Volek, number 19, always dangerous when he's out on the ice. 24-year-old Islander star in the NHL. Knows all about playing under pressure.
Lubina and Volek seem to have a good understanding with each other.
Some great stuff here from the Germans. Working his way in is Berwanger, getting it back. The shot comes in. That took a deflection. Berwanger out there to kill off penalties. Almost got himself a goal. On the attack now. Polnick along the boards, working with Zemlichka. Zemlichka behind the goal to the far side. All the way back to the blue. Medrick pumps it back in. Czechoslovakia setting it up nicely. The long shot. That took a deflection, goes high. 15 seconds on the penalty. Along the boards. And we'll have a face-off with the Germans still a man down. Kammerer still in there just for a few seconds.
This is the most relaxed I've seen Coach Nevesley look so far in this tournament. The Czechs seem to be enjoying themselves. They're playing better hockey today, and they seem to be liking it a lot more. Nevesley hasn't had too many good looks on his face during the tourney, but he hasn't had a lot to cheer about.
9 seconds on the penalty. Hagen swipes it back. That hits a body. Eventually it's picked up by Schmidt. Kammerer getting set to get back on the ice if he can open the door. And icing will be the call. As Kammerer stepped on the ice, the Germans shot it all the way down the ice, and so icing will force the face-off to the far end of the rink. 3 minutes to go in the period. The Czechs have 3, the Germans have 0. Fantastic start with Volek, Zemlichka, and Russell popping goals within the first 3 minutes of play. The Germans were out there still lacing up their skates, going through their stretches, and they were 3 goals behind. Beranek lost the draw, and Germany, with a slow breakout of their own zone, lose it out to Dolezal. He taps it through into the neutral zone. Beranek, who never stops skating, loses that to Trunchka. Trunchka to the far side. Germany looking for that quick break, or having difficulty stringing more than 2 passes together. Russell, a nice little give off there to Bolek. Dolezal. Beranek was trailing. Slager bats it back into the corner for Niederberger, working with Schmidt. Russell will pick up that loose puck. He gets it to the far side. Musil takes the shot way wide of the target. Draisaitl gives that off on the left wing. The pass over to the right wing. Trunchka to Dieter Hagen. Dieter Hagen from a sharp angle, and Draisaitl banned on the pass. Trunchka picks it up at the side of the goal. Hagen moves in front, and Slager picks it up. Dolezal hammers his man against the boards, and the Czechs getting let off lightly there as Draisaitl picks it up for Germany and drops it back over the red. An aimless pass from him, and the Czechs will change their lines. That shot in beyond Trunchka. Niederberger will have to collect. Niederberger moves it to the wing. Pokorny flips that into the red line, and Serban bats it back into German territory. The shot comes right in. Heiss is there. Block got a piece of that. Block goes in after it. Block moves back to the blue line. That comes in over the blue. The laid offside allows the Germans to bring it out. Kammerer and Pokorny. Kammerer waiting for the pass. It didn't come. Kopp flipping it ahead to Brandl. Brandl bats it over to Kammerer. Kammerer now in the corner. There's going to be another penalty on the play. Kopp, it's going against Czechoslovakia. Gets it back. Pokorny takes the shot. Kammerer gets the tip, and Svoboda makes the save. The Czechs eventually touch the puck, and they're going to be called for interference.
A good burst offensively by the Germans. They are starting to move the puck around a lot better. There's the interference call. Richard Smelnick really belts his man into the boards away from the play. There's a look at Smelnick on his way to the penalty box, sitting there for interference for 2 minutes.
Another power play opportunity for the Germans with the face-off in the Czechoslovakian zone. 55 seconds on the period, so this penalty to Smelnick will go into the second period.
A quick goal could give the Germans a lift. The Americans seemed out of it against the Soviets, and a couple goals brought them right back into it.
Dieter Hagen moves it away nicely from Reznicek, pops that into the corner. Reznicek decides to back off all the way back to the blue line. Niederberger, Schmidt one times at the shot. The save is there. Hagen picks it up right in front of the goal. Trunchka's there, but 5 and 6, Medrick and Reznicek come in to support Svoboda.
Ulrich Svoboda is having a great first period. Trunchka getting up off his knees in front of him. The Germans are wondering what they've got to do to put one past this man. Hagen's by the side of the goal. It's a good shot from Michael Schmidt. Trunchka's there. They just can't seem to burst his little bubble. Svoboda's really having an outstanding period. That's what happens in a game. If a goalie makes a few key saves and gets himself heated up, they can be impossible to beat.
32 seconds on the first period. Draisaitl is told to get out of the circle. So a change of bodies in the circle, brings it back to Hagen. 28 seconds, the shot takes a deflection off Tupal, another deflection off Tupal, and Tupal eventually says, well, if you're going to keep hitting me with it, I'm going to shoot it down the ice. 18 seconds, just enough time for a shot, perhaps up on the wing to Schmidt. He fires it all the way in. 5 seconds on the clock. No chance here for the Germans to get a shot on goal as that goes all the way down the ice. There goes the buzzer to end the first period. A great period for Czechoslovakia. Bolek scored first, Zemlichka, and then Russell right behind him. 3 goals in less than 3 minutes. And the Germans came out very, very slow indeed. They're starting to pull their game back. I'm sure we're going to see more from them. Well, we're going to take a break now. Join us in a moment for the second period. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Turku, Finland, as we get set to start the second period. The Czechs lead this one 3-0 over the Germans. Svoboda has been strong between the pipes. So far, the Czechs have done this in the tournament.
They went down to the Finns 2-0. They went down to the US 4-1. They came back with a win over the Swiss 4-1. They beat the Germans 7-1. Those were good starters for them, but they haven't had a good tournament so far. They've been up and down. They've been a bit of a disappointment.
The Germans 8-1 against the Swedes. They lost again to the Soviets. The Canadians, they lost to the Czechs. The Finns blanked 6-0. They got a good result against the Americans. Lost again to the Swiss and then to the Finns. Well, they've been struggling. They need a result here today to pull themselves back into it. They've got the man advantage here for 42 seconds. What can they do with it? The Germans playing from left to right with Niederberger at the red. Draisaitl. The long shot into the corner. And the one thing when you shoot it into the corner, you got to go in after it. There's no point putting it in there unless you send in troops. Niederberger, 14 seconds on the penalty as we approach the first minute in the second period. Peter Hagen. Hagen has Trunchka out front. A shot right in front. Draisaitl was there. Hagen back to the blue. Hagen. The teams are back at full strength. Kuchera now breaking with Melik. Kuchera stops. Takes the shot, and that comes off big Udo Kiesling and is pumped into the corner. Trunchka. Schmidt. Kiesling. Luck. Getting that by Kammerer. Kiesling now for Germany. Fires it all the way in, and Koch goes after it. On the far side, the Germans getting it back to Koch. Koch along the boards, starting to throw a few passes together. And just when you think they're motoring, they're slammed against the boards by the likes of Reznicek, and play stops quickly.
Germans not taking advantage of the power play. They know they've got to come up with something. The Czechs are really starting to take the body well in their own zone. That isn't going to make it any easier for the Germans. They've got to string a few passes together and try and get something behind Svoboda, who's been invincible so far.
Randall gets that back to the blue to Pokorny. He flips in a lazy shot that's intercepted. Lubina loses that one off his stick, and Kopf gets it back to Kiesling. Kiesling gives that one away to Bolek. Lubina is waltzing out front. Holik is there to help out in the corner. Some good double teaming as Serban shoots at it, and the Czechs throwing in 2 men on the puck. Serban gets up off his knees, takes Kopf out of the play, and the puck ends up at center ice. Germany now back on the attack. Kopf picks it up. Nice little move by him. Serban brought him to the ice. The play continues as that comes back to the blue line. The shot deflected away. Volek gives that off to Smelik. That's a giveaway to Kopf. Right in front of the goal, the backhand shot from Kammerer. He totally wasted that one. He had a day and a half to shoot, and he tried to do everything in a split second. Smelik takes his man out. Brandl picks it up. Brandl tries to work out from side of the net. Kammerer takes the shot. Kopf goes in up against his man along the boards. Some good stuff along the boards as Volek came off second best against Kopf. But the Czechs pick up the puck and shoot it down the ice. They want to take the pressure off. Icing will be the call.
The Czechs are playing the body well, but very careless with their passing. Robert Hollick with the giveaway. Kammerer couldn't make anything of it. There's the action around the front of the Czech goal. A good poke check from Svoboda. Kammerer comes right back out with it and drills it way wide of the net.
Marcus Berwanger at center for Germany. They trail by 3 here in the first period as that comes all the way back to Wrench. Gets it into the corner. Slager muscles his way along the boards for Tupol. Tupol to Zemlichka. Tupol to the far side. The return pass for Zemlichka takes a deflection. Is picked up by Kolnick. He gets it all the way back to Frantisek Musso, and he taps it forward to Tupol. Well, the Czechs are enjoying their game out there, and that's what it's all about. Have fun when you're on the ice, and they really do look like they're enjoying themselves. Throwing the pass around. Zemlichka works in now from the side. Zemlichka gets it right in front. Kolnick was there, and the pass was intercepted and then given away again. Renschke gave that one away. Eventually came to the rescue. Werner handed that one off. Beranek takes a shot, and that comes off Renschke's foot, and he really did feel that. Dolezal gives that one off nicely. Beranek bounces that off the boards. The long shot again, this time from Medved, comes off a skate. Dolezal up on the wing. Russell, a nice little move by him, working with Dolezal. Dolezal back into the corner. Russell right out front. The pass comes. Dolezal picks it up and takes it to the far corner. Beranek. The Czechs having a field day out there. Russell now really impressing. A nice little move as he gets it away from Wagner. The shot right on the goal. Eventually Wrench puts it into Pepe Heiss, and Heiss says to Wagner and Wrench, hey, come on guys, give me some support.
Look at Russell coming over for rest. He's very clever with the puck. You've got to take his body. Really moves the puck around well. That shot went right off the chest of Pepe Heiss. He felt that. Beranek, Dolezal, and Russell really having a good time. The Germans weren't skating, and the 3 Czechs certainly were. Controlling the play all over the German zone. Going to be a penalty to each side. Don Adam calling these after the play. Berwanger sits in the box for slashing. He'll be joined. There's an interference call on the Czechs as well.
Berwanger sitting there for 2 minutes.
The interference went on Berwanger. Adams said that backwards to the scorekeeper as he came over.
The drop-off actually shot to the far side. It's tipped along the boards. Serban pumps it in. Dolezal is called for the slash, his 5th penalty of the tournament.
That happened away from the play. Dolezal reacted to being interfered with. Adam gave them both 2 minutes to cool down.
Just over 5 minutes gone in the second period. Both teams with a man down here as that comes up along the boards to Kuchera. Kuchera, who plays his hockey with Tampere in Finland, is out there to do the damage against Schmidt and co. Schmidt leaves that one off right on the red line. Draisaitl has got Hagen out front. And we have another whistle on the plate.
Well, Draisaitl was in there by himself. 2 or 3 Czechs were all over him. Serban had the stick up high as he took him into the boards. There you can see it, Draisaitl working by himself. It looked 50-50, the both of them just swung around, but Adam's not going to take any chances. He wants to maintain control of the game, and Serban will go for high sticking. Serban, the experienced 26-year-old who plays a lot, gets a lot of ice time, not showing much reaction, just going to the penalty box. See Nevesley on the bench having a real go at Yuri Kuchera. He obviously did something on his last shift that didn't please the coach very much.
Kiesling, 4 against 3 out there. Kiesling takes the shot. Svoboda gloves that one down. Volek having a go after the whistle. Little Thomas Brandl receives the brunt of that thrust. And this guy, number 12, Musel, standing by, always looking to get into the action.
12 red, unsportsmanlike conduct, 7 white, roughing.
Couple of penalties there. Musel and Brandl.
Brandl gets roughing. Musel gets unsportsmanlike conduct. Maybe Adam just trying to keep his statistics up. Musel heading the table in penalty minutes. There he goes to the penalty box. I don't know what took him so long. He's not unfamiliar to the penalty box. It's his 26th minute in penalties in the tournament. Certainly isn't a stranger. I don't know, maybe he's sick of being over there. That's why he took time going to the box.
Puck going behind the Czechoslovakian goal is cleared all the way down the ice. And now the Czechs with Dieter Hagen, or the Germans with Dieter Hagen, working their way forward. The Czechs go back into the defensive mode as Kopp flips that to the far side. Kiesling working with Hagen, being shadowed by Volek. Hagen right in front. The shot coming from Draisaitl just missed the far corner. Kopp was there and he couldn't do anything about it. Draisaitl keeps it in, gives it to Hagen, and eventually that comes off his stick and is batted all the way down the ice. The Czechs getting a quick change out there. Along the boards, Niederberger taking that in, dropped it off. Hagen wants it back as Niederberger comes back and assumes the position. Dieter Hagen took the shot, was allowed to pick up the rebound. Niederberger, Hagen fakes the shot. Niederberger takes the shot, and again it's saved. Reznicek picks it up and bounces that off the boards, gets it down the ice.
The Germans desperately want one in this 4-on-3 situation. They've got a lot of room on that ice to move the puck around.
Hagen still out there. He's the one who can put the puck in the net if anyone can. Niederberger. Schmidt. Niederberger to the hash marks to Hagen. Some nice stop. The return pass for Hagen was well behind him from Schmidt. That's into the corner. Players getting set to come back on the ice as Trunchka gets it back. Hagen can't get that pass either, and he has to put it back to Trunchka. Trunchka can't collect it, but Medrick does. The break is on. The Czechs coming down, a one-on-one situation. Gluck drops it back. Smelik was there, but it was too far for him. Picked up now by Werner. On the break, the teams coming back on the ice from the penalty box. The wraparound coming, and the whistle blows.
Adam is going to sort this out. The whistle came very late. You see him going over to the timekeeper. Timekeeper's questioning the men coming out of the penalty box. He wants to have a word with Don Adam. Musil was very anxious to get out of the penalty box. Must be the NHL experience for him, Paul. Had 173 minutes in penalties with the Calgary Flames this year. He's brought it back to Europe with him, and he's taking his share of them in the penalty box in this tournament as well.
It does get complicated, Richard, when you've got more than one guy in there. Sometimes you have to wait for a penalty to finish off before another one starts, and that's what they're trying to work out now. Who should have come back onto the ice? The Germans are taking advantage of the situation to get rested. They trail by 3. Volek, Zemlichka, and Rossel have scored for the Czechs in that powerful start to the first period. The Germans, although they haven't scored, have brought themselves slowly back into this game. They're looking more and more confident. They're throwing the puck around. And despite the 3-goal lead by Czechoslovakia, they look like they might be able to do something here in the second period.
With all respect to the Germans, it's been Ulrich Svoboda that's kept them out of this game so far. The Czechs have played well, yes, but the Germans have played pretty well offensively and have had some great chances. Svoboda has just come up bigger every time.
Still waiting for Adam to make this decision. Let's see if he sorted it out.
He's going over to let Nevesley know what's going on. You can hear him telling the player on the Czech bench, who obviously speaks very clear English, that it was their mistake, not the referees. They should be 5-on-4. Volek doing the talking to Nevesley. His year with the New York Islanders obviously has helped his English. Don Adams speaking quite clearly to him and letting him know that that was the timekeeper's fault, not theirs.
That was pretty impressive. Adam going over to the bench as we see the quick break here. I'll explain that in a minute. 2-on-1 break. Coming down right on goal. The shot, maybe Heiss steers that away. Holick let go of the shot, the wrist shot, eventually picked up by Berwanger. Deflected away, and what I was about to say, Richard, it was impressive the way Adam went over to both the benches, took the time to explain everything nice and slowly, so there's no reason to dispute the call, and that's the kind of thing players and coaches like to see. Hey, talk it through, just don't turn your back on us, tell us what's happening on the ice. The shot, took a deflection, Smelik gets it in the corner. Lubina hammers his man along the boards and picks up the puck. Out into the neutral zone. Now the Czechs have the man back on the ice. Holick along the boards, loses control of that. Hilger. Some good stuff from the Germans now as they start to play two-way hockey. That just didn't come to Werner. Pokornoy kept it in, and Lubina came up with a puck. A long pass up. Rossel takes the shot. Wrench picked up the rebound, but Pepe Heiss again had to be strong on that. Pokornoy. Holick against the boards, wins that confrontation. The weak shot is handled easily by Heiss, and he makes a split-second decision not to give it away and call for a face-off.
As soon as the Czechs had that man back on the ice from the penalty box, they really applied a lot of pressure. Holick doing a great job. Heiss didn't like what he saw as he made the save and decided to cover up and take a whistle.
This guy Rossel, 26 years old, who plays his hockey in Italy, really is dynamic out there. A couple of years ago when he played on the squad, he had a problem with attitude. They brought him back this year. He seems to have sorted himself out. He wants to play hockey. He wants to be a team player, but individually he still shines. Beranek shadows as this goes over to the far side to Nastor. Nastor seeing some ice time out there. The Dynamo Berlin, formerly East Germany star, is allowed out there to play along with Schertz. Beranek steps into the box, and we're seeing a lot of penalties here in the second period.
Baranek, knowing he was going to get the call all the way, went directly to the penalty box. Here it is in front of the goal. Corney coming around the net. Baranek just gets a piece of him and pulls him down. Adam giving him the tripping call.
The score is 3-1, or 3-0 rather. Czechoslovakia leading the Germans. We're going to take a short break now. We'll have more action from the second period in a moment. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second period. 3-0 is the score. Czechoslovakia over Germany. But the Germans are starting to improve as we go on. Hagen goes for a little skate.
Another chance to try and do something with the power play as Baranek is in the box for tripping.
A lot of niggling going on off the puck. A lot of cheap shots being given out there, and Don Adam is being forced to call penalties left and right. Midway point here in the second period. Kopp for the Germans drops it back, and Udo Kiesling to Pokonai. His pass onto the far wing to Brandl is intercepted by Slager. Back to Kiesling. He bangs that off the boards. Hagen picks it up. Kiesling. Dieter Hagen. Now, the one thing the Germans haven't been doing on the power play is shooting. There's going to be a penalty, and a clever move there by Hagen. He knew the penalty was against the Czechs, so he shot the puck right at the Czechoslovakian player. He had to touch it, and the whistle blows. Now they'll have the advantage of 2 Czechs in the penalty box.
There's the replay. There's the high stick in front of the net. Slager's all over his man. He knocks Brandl flying. Hagen doing a very experienced thing there, showing that he's got a lot of world-class experience by giving the puck to the Czechs, as you said, Paul. That will give the Germans more time to have a 2-man advantage. Don Adam is really calling it close. Anything he sees that looks even half out of the ordinary, he's putting the players right in the penalty box. Not going to allow for anything to go.
The Finnish linesman is explaining where the face-off will be. They want it further up on the circle. The Germans, that is. The Czechs are happy with that decision.
Kiesling isn't. Udo Kiesling, the captain of the Germans, was trying to get the face-off deeper in the Czech zone.
Hagen. Way back at the point position. Hagen fakes the shot. Moves it in, gets it to the far side, and that goes off of Bolek. Hagen again taking too long, is dropped back by Bolek. Brandl. Kopp. This little guy can move. Hagen this time takes the shot, misses the net, the rebound comes out. Bolek behind the goal with Zmelik. Eventually bring it out. The tip forward, Hagen will have to go after this one. And Hagen getting a lot of jeers from the crowd as he takes a long time to set the power play up in the Czechoslovakian zone. This time he fires it in deep. Svoboda gets the touch, and that's tipped away. The race is on, and the Czechs will fire this out of the zone once again.
As the puck came together with the 2 players, it was off a glove. Pushed ahead. The Czechs are really doing a good job for being down 2 men. The 3 men that they've got on the ice are really covering it well, and they're not allowing the Germans to get anything going at their goal.
There's no movement from the Germans at all. They're stationary there. They got to move around, create openings, go for the holes.
It's nice to get the shot that you want, but you can't wait all day to take it. Hagen with a lot of time really teed it up, and Bolek just stepped in front of it, took it away from him.
10 seconds on one penalty, 1:03 on the other. The Germans with Niederberger. Now Niederberger, one times it, the shot is there. And Svoboda was right in front. Berwanger was there too. And Zmelik for the Czechs is in behind the goal. 49 seconds on the 1 remaining penalty for Czechoslovakia, and they still shoot it down the ice. Niederberger to the far side. Return pass to Berwanger. Berwanger looking for number 28, Werner. The pass doesn't come off, and Baranek breaks. Baranek drops it back. Intercepted nicely by Hilger. 28 seconds on the penalty. Hilger skates down the middle of the ice, looks for Werner and finds him on the right wing. Werner runs into too many red shirts, and Zemlichka gets it up into the top slot. And number 21, Bernek, will go forward. Bernek taken out of the play. Some good stuff from Schmidt to stand him up. Shot back in, and the Germans really are in a complete state of disarray as Niederberger gets it to the other side. Well, they squandered this opportunity. They had the two-man advantage and did absolutely nothing about it.
They can't afford to miss chances like this. They need goals badly. They're down 3. They've got to do something offensively.
They really have to punish the Czechs when they've got men in the box. Kiesling bounces that off the boards. He's working with Kopp. Tupal is all over him. Kopp now tries to bring it out. His pass is not a good one. Tupal got a skate on it, and Zemlichka works with Tupal. Zemlichka to Tupal. A nice little move by Tupal, but it was just a bit too close to Kamara, who poked it out of the zone. Both teams getting the change out here in the period. The Czechs lead this one 3-0. Kiesling along the boards, up to Brandl. He stands around for a couple of minutes and loses out. Bernek into the far corner. Bernek's been out there a long time for Czechoslovakia, taken out of the play by Kiesling. The far side, Serban got the shot, or was it a pass? And now the Germans come back on the attack. Brandl hands it right to Dolezal, and that really has been the story in the last couple of minutes. The giveaway passes as Smelik clears it down the ice, and we'll have another icing call. The Germans seem somewhere along the way to have lost concentration.
As soon as they do one thing right, they make a silly mistake, and the Czechs are on their way again. They just can't seem to get it together. Mike Schmidt on the bench having a word with one of his players. Looked like Niederberger he was talking to. They're trying to get things sorted out, try and get some communication and be able to find each other on the ice better than they are at the moment.
Dusseldorf and Cologne dominate this German side with 6 players each. Golek along the right wing stops, waits for support, and gives it into the far corner. Naster, who's out there again for Germany. Naster getting some good experience. Rumrich taken out of the play, and they're starting to throw on the younger players as Wrench gives it off to the far corner, and Lubina picks it up. Lubina, the pass right on the blue was a good one, but there was no one there to help out. Wrench got that forward. The drop pass is a terrible one, and the Germans have to go on the defense again. Hollick shrugs off a check there from Wagner, and the whistle blows, and the Czechs will take a well-deserved break. A lot of giveaway passes by the German side. They're really not looking where they're passing, looking. The drop passes are being intercepted, picked up by the Czechoslovakian trailers, and they're just not concentrating out there. They went through a great spell at the beginning of the period, at the end of the last period, but they're going into reverse here with 14:49 gone in the second period.
They need to dump it in and bump and grind a little bit. They don't need all the pass work. They need shots on goal. They need more action on Svoboda to try and break his bubble.
Zemlichka again with Tupal. Tupal calls for it and gets it, but gets it back to Zemlichka. That's right in front, looking for Kolnick. That line has been working well. Draisaitl to Trunchka. Trunchka races into the corner now. Kolnick goes after him. Kolnick still fighting with Trunchka. Trunchka tries to kick it along the boards. Comes to the side of the net. Trunchka couldn't get a stick on it. And Kolnick now bounces that off the boards, but only as far as the German defense. The backhand pass coming from Draisaitl, intercepted. And Zemlichka takes it forward. Zemlichka moves to the right wing. Kolnick fires it off the backboard. Zemlichka is there to help out with Tupal. Schmidt takes his man out of the play. Serban. That took a deflection. Schmidt was right there with Zemlichka, and interference is the call as Pepe Heiss held that loose puck for the face-off.
Look at Dieter Hagen coming over to the bench. Both teams getting quick changes. It's warm on the ice. The puck is bouncing around quite a bit. Draisaitl slowly makes his way to the penalty box for interference. There you can see the play. It's right in the center. Low slot area. Draisaitl taking his man out. Well away from the puck. Gone out of making the call.
Power play now for the Czechs. The long shot. And Adam whistles that down. Indicating players in the crease as Heiss came out to make that save, so the faceoff will be in the neutral zone.
Good look at Musil. Big guy who plays with Calgary, throws his weight around. Him and Slager have got good shots from the blue line.
Rossel on the power play. Musil. Rossel. The Czechs always with that man behind the goal as Rossel gets it right across the ice. That took a deflection off a corny stick, and that goes into the neutral zone. Beranek gets it over. Slager tapped it back, and now Beranek comes forward. Beranek, he's got the shot, gets it in front to Musil. Musil taps it into the corner. Along the boards, Dolazar is there to help out, and the Germans bring it out of the zone, and we're going to have another penalty as Hilger is dropped to the ice.
Slager slams the brakes on and stops. How can you call that, he's saying. Reached out with his stick to slap the puck. His stick just goes off the toe of the skate of Hilger and sends him head first onto the ice, and Slager gets a tripping penalty. You can't believe the call. It isn't going to matter what he believes. He's in the penalty box looking up at the score clock.
Both teams now with a man on the box. Coming up to the 17-minute mark, Draisaitl is in there with Slager. Draisaitl for interference. Slager for tripping. And the Finnish linesman again waiting for the teams to get set. Zemlichka slowly puts it back to the Czechoslovakian defenseman Reznicek. Now they come forward. Luck. Reznicek. 3 minutes now on the second period. The Czechs lead this one 3-0. Zemlichka scooted to the far side. Luck is with him. Zemlichka gets it away from Brandl. Oh, some good close-in stuff as the Czechs set up the little triangle wherever they are on the ice, and they throw the puck around nicely. Kopf tries to skate away along the boards. Runs into one too many Czechoslovakian players. Zemlichka dispossesses Brandl, gives it to Reznicek. Zemlichka over the red, over the blue. Lubina breaks for the net. The pass is right there. Lubina wrenches out there to take him out of the plate. Wagner helps out too, and now the Germans break. Coming down, 2-on-2 situation. Kopf handling that off to Wrench to Brandl. Brandl goes against Serban. Oh, and a terrible pass intercepted by Lubina and shot down the ice. Some lazy stuff from the Germans here in the dying stages of this second period. Draisaitl gets it over to the far side, and that will be taken by a Czech. Lubina taps it forward, and again, the Czechs with less than 2 minutes on the period come up with a puck and shoot it down the ice.
The Czechs showing their class. They're just simply outskating the Germans all over the ice. Even strength, shorthanded power play, it just doesn't matter. The Czechs are all over the Germans. They don't know what to do.
10 seconds on the penalty. Another giveaway right on the blue line. Volek says thank you very much and puts it into the corner. Slager steps back on the ice, and Czechoslovakia are back at full strength. Some great stuff by Slager to bring himself back into the game. Some good back-checking up to Bolek. Trunchka collects on the left wing. 1 minute now on the period. The pass forward to Hagen. He can't control that. Russell to Bolek. Bolek has a man in front. The chip from Dolazal just wide of the far post. 50 seconds on the clock. Trunchka again to Hagen. Dolezal getting that forward, and that pass was too far for anyone as Pokorny goes all the way down. Pokorny to Kiesling. Kiesling tapping that forward. Berwanger. The pass intended for Werner. Too far for him. That comes off the boards. Berwanger tries to get it back to the blue, takes a hit. Going in to help out is Werner. Look at the number of Czechs back there. They really do get back and forth. 10 seconds on the period. Veranek, a nice little move over to Rossel. Has he got time to get the shot away? The one-timer from Dolezal. And there goes the buzzer to end the second period. One-way traffic. Czechoslovakia leading 3-0 against West Germany.
It's all Czechoslovakia. Both ends of the ice are out skating the Germans, and the German side is in all kinds of trouble. They got 20 minutes to get it together.
We're going to take a short break now. Join us in a moment. We'll be back with the third and final period. Don't go away. Welcome back to the third period. Adam getting set to start this period. The Czechs lead it 3-0 over the Germans, and well, it really does depend on what they said between the periods, whether the Germans come out firing for the final 20 minutes of play. They were sluggish in that period. They had their moments in the first period, once in a while in the second, but for most of both periods, they just sat back and relaxed and let Pepe Heist do all the work.
Heist has had his share of action. The German coaching staff has had to say, look, we've got to skate harder and press the play and get some shots on the net. We're being outskated all over the ice. It's as simple as that.
You got to forget about what the press say. You got to forget who hasn't come to take part in the tournament. It's all about what's happening out on the ice now. And it really is important that you play your best out there. Draisaitl tries to get it back to Schmidt. It's kept in. The shot is right there. Hagen takes a swipe at it. There's going to be a penalty on the play.
Adam really likes the high sticking call. He's got that one down to a science. Trunchka very slow getting up. He's just to his knees now. Could be a way of catching his breath. Oh, surprise. It's Musil going back to the penalty box. You can see him smiling. He's on a first-name basis with the timekeeper and the gatekeeper of the penalty box. There he is, knocking Trunchka flying in front of the goal.
I understand that they put a phone in there for him just in case anybody on the bench wants to talk to him. He's taking his calls over there.
He seems to like it better on that side of the ice. When he wants to rest, he likes sitting over there. There he is, shaking his head. He feels very comfortable over there now after 28 minutes of being in there.
Well, it doesn't seem to make any difference whether they're a man down or 2 men down. The Germans haven't been able to capitalize. What can they do on this occasion? Brandl at center.
You were a goalie, Paul, and you haven't mentioned it yet. The Czech goalie, Svoboda, has got the shutout going.
That is the kiss of death right there. That's in the net! It's waved off by the official. Came in off a hand, it looked like. Don Adams saying no goal.
No goal. It was directed in by a hand.
Well, there you go.
No goal.
In English as well as American. Let's watch this again.
Pokorny comes in. It's deflected off 2 or 3 people. Kammerer sticks his right hand out, directs it behind Svoboda. It's no goal. Adam clearly saw it, a good call. But Paul, how about the telepathy there that you and I came up with about that shutout? That can really break a goalie's back, can't it, when you say something like that?
That's cruel. We've said this before. The last thing you want to hear when you're goalies and you have a shutout is someone on your team to come along and say, you're doing really well, hope you keep your shutout. You're bound to lose it. And that almost happened to Svoboda. He's playing so well. And can you imagine the heartbreak if they had counted that goal? The Czechs with Musil in the box, the Germans putting on the pressure, or are they?
The Czechs playing it tough right at the blue line. The Germans have got to skate away from the play. They're going to have to dump the puck in and bump and grind, get 2 guys on the puck, take a few chances offensively. and try and create something. Got to make it happen. Olenek trying to tell the guys to get tougher and get to the front of the goal. Keep testing Svoboda. Something will happen if we do.
Keep the shots down too. That way it's more difficult for the goaltender to see it, and there's always the possibility of the deflection. You're always taught that as a kid, these shots that come up waist high, well, the goaltender can see it all the way. A long shot misses the goal to the far side. Baron Wagner really got a piece of that one. Wagner tries to slow up Lubina. Wrench, who's put out there on the power play, gives that off and gets the return pass. Wrench. Hilger. Going after it is number 22, Berwanger, but he can't get there first, and that's cleared all the way down to the German goal. Marco Wrench, who plays his hockey with Preußen, number 20, or he's 25 years old, flips that into the far corner, but again, the Czechs find themselves first person to the puck. Dolezal goes in after number 5, Wagner. Wagner to Niederberger. Niederberger now skating with some force. Niederberger on the left wing fires it in all the way to the far side. Going in after it is Oswald. And now the Germans taking the shot. It's right there in front. And a good save by Svoboda on the second attempt.
29, Rumrick showing some aggression, going hard for the rebound. Him and Oswald out there haven't seen a lot of ice. Getting some valuable experience. Big shot let go here by Oswald. It's up high. Not an easy one for the goaltender to handle, but Svoboda comes up with it. Slager doing his job, knocking Rumrick away from the front of the net, so there's no chance for a rebound.
The power play being made up of youngsters as Musil gets set up to go back on the ice. They've successfully killed off this penalty now, and I was about to say, Richard, that the German coach has gone with the youngsters. He's not getting much from Hagen, Draisaitl, and Trunchka, so he's got to go with somebody out there, so he's going with the kids. The experienced internationals are letting him down on the power play. Nasser loses that one along the boards, and we come up to the 3-minute plus mark here in the third period. 3-0 is the score. Niederberger. Schmidt gets that away from Kuchera. The long shot there coming from Smelik. The Germans. Oswald. A chance there for number 24, Nasser. The East German player who's now with the German side. Came over for Dynamo Berlin, is out there. And it's good experience at this level from him. Kiesling. Long shot comes off a defenseman. Pollock goes after his man from corner, gets round one man. Oh, a nice move. He couldn't stay on his feet as Serbat got the backhand off the boards and gave it to Lubina. Right in front. Oh, Trunchka got the touch on that. Draisaitl was right there too, and it trickled by the far post.
Svoboda had already made his move and wouldn't have had a chance had that been on the net.
Kiesling off the boards. Okornoy gives it up to Hollick, who gets it back to the D. The pass right up the middle to Bolek. Offside is the call, as Lubina was quick to react over that blue line. And just as I was criticizing the German number 1 line, they came up with a good little move that almost gave them a goal.
Maybe this is what they need. Get the kids out. They're good inspiration. It's good experience for them. They're doing their best. They're working hard. It also gives the big line a chance to get an extra rest. There you see Draisaitl directing that for Trunchka. He just deflects it wide of the goal. Possibly this will help this line to have a little more rest and come out and really be able to go harder.
It also makes you a little hungrier too when you're sitting on the bench and you know you should be out there in the power play because you're an international star, and you see a 20-year-old kid out there in your place. If that doesn't jog you into playing some kind of hockey, then I don't know what will. Slager wants that one. Oh, some great stuff then by Bolek. Bolek working with Hollick. And the whistle blows to stop that one, and we have another high-sticking penalty.
Don Adam making his favorite call once again, high-sticking. He really is tough, makes the players keep the sticks down. Hagen going over to the penalty box. Don Adam has really had control of this game. It hasn't been too rough, but it's had its moments where the sticks have come up. Tempers haven't flared, but Adam's done a good job of keeping the game well under control.
Chance perhaps for the Czechs to increase their lead. They've got 3 already. The Germans are a man down. Dolezal powers that to the far side. Russell hands it off to Musil. Russell will slowly pass that puck around and set it up as Musil works right into the crease area. Watch him. A lot of stick work there as Bernek has that poked off his stick. Watch the action if you can in front of the goal. Wagner trying to stay on his man. Some good stuff from the Germans as Dolezal pokes it to the far side and gets the pass right back to the blue. The shot comes in. That whizzes by the far side. A good tip there as Slager wasn't able to keep it in. He gets it to the far side and Russell comes back with it. Takes the shot. Heiss way out of the goal. Wrench tries to clear it and gives it right to Bernek. Bernek trips and falls for no real reason at all, and that's shot into the crowd. And we'll have another face-off.
A couple of good saves from Heiss. Out of desperation, Wrench just wrist-shotting the puck out, and it goes over the German bench.
It's interesting to see Big Musil moving into the slot area right in front of the goal. Smelik got that pass over. It wasn't a great one. Berwanger breaks, taken out of the play. Smelik gets to it first. Berwanger comes right after him with the cross-check, and Smelik gives it off, and the Czechs move down the left wing. Back on the attack, Hollick is breaking for goal. This will be kept in the zone by Volek. The pass already back to the blue. Smelik takes the shot. That takes the deflection. The break is on now. Berwanger just couldn't get the shot away. He really was hooked all the way down the ice as the net is dislodged.
It's the first thing the Germans have put behind Svoboda tonight. It's number 22, Marcus Berwanger. He goes in without the puck, though. There he is, reaching for it. He's taken out of the play very nicely, and he puts himself into the goal. There's another look at it. Berwanger stretching as far as he can. He's taken out nicely. The Czechs just very strong on the skating coming back. And Berwanger scores himself, but that won't count.
.29 seconds on the German penalty. 6:10 gone on the period. It's the last one, and the last time these teams will meet in this competition. Czechoslovakia are leading this one 3-0. A nice little pass up to Zemlička. Zemlička breaking hard. Zemlička takes the shot. He scores! Oh, that was nice. Zemlička, number 22, picks up his second goal of the game on a solo effort.
Puck is directed ahead from Tupal. Zemlička's on his way. He's between Kiesling and Pokorny. Takes the shot low on the ice. There you can see Heiss isn't set. He's moving to the side. Zemlička's got time. Very neatly fights off the defense as they're trying to put the stick on him. Comes up with a nice goal. Hard fought, well-deserved goal for Richard Zemlička.
4-0 now the score. The Czechs are running away with this one. Trunchka over to Hagen. Hagen gets that back to the defense, and the Germans really are behind the 8 ball here in the third period. Medrick brings it out. It's been a good performance from the Czechs. They really have skated, thrown the pass around nicely. Kuchera moves in over the blue, and the offside whistle is called.
Well, the goal from Zemlička says it all. Clearly shows how the Czechs are just so hard to take off the puck, how strong they are and how well they skate. There's another look at the offsides. Black just unable to keep himself on side after directing the puck to Kuchera.
A lot of motion from Czechoslovakia in this game. You never see the guys standing around. They're always moving away from the play, looking for openings. The break now for Draisaitl. Well, 3 Czechs back there. Medrick, Zemlička, taken out of the play. Draisaitl, a nice little pass back. Pokorny taps that into the corner. Trunchka squeezed out of the play by Medrick, and that's tipped over to the far corner. Breaking hard now. The Czechs a 3-on-2 break. Coming right on goal. Kuchera is there, the shot. Takes a deflection, then Hagen picks it up for Germany, working with Trunchka now. Taken out of the play. Zemlichka back on the attack. Along the boards, Trunchka takes him out of the play. Play continuing as the Germans go on the attack. Welcome back to the action here in the third period. The Czechs lead this one 4-0. The Germans desperately trying to throw their game together. Personally, I don't think they can do it in time, but Trunchka may have something to say about that. Trunchka on the move, trying to do it on his own as that comes over the line. Svoboda decides to call for a face-off as he picks that one up as it bobbled towards his goal. Erik Kuhnhackl not looking too happy. I guess that's an understatement. The assistant coach for the German side really must have blown his top between the periods. A long shot coming from way back at the point as Slager picks it up. Russell tips that one into the neutral zone. Dieter Hagen takes it deep into his own territory. He's got Wagner on the D working with him as Hagen comes up nicely. Hagen, a nice little move as he drops that off. Wrench took the shot and put it wide. Russell along the boards. Dolezal there to help out Draisaitl. The break is on now, coming right in on goal. Hagen shoots, he scores! There goes the shutout. A nice little move as Draisaitl helped to set him up, and Hagen put it upstairs.
There you can see Hagen, he's behind Musil and all of the Czechs. He goes in, holds on to the puck just long enough to let Svoboda make his move. It's a good one. He pulls it, just fakes it, puts the wrist shot up over the glove of Svoboda. A nice goal for Dieter Hagen. There it is, a little delay. Lets Svoboda start to go down. Wrist shots it up over him. A nice goal for Dieter Hagen.
Well taken goal there with Musil approaching fast, but not fast enough. All the way down the ice. The icing is waved off. It took a deflection. Kammerer goes after that. Cook is there to help out. Smelik can't get a handle on it, and Serban picks it up on the far side. Serban changes direction and moves into the center of the ice. The long pass to Kuchera. Kuchera is poke check. Vlach picks it up. Koch is right in there to pick up the loose puck, and what do we see? Don Adam with the high stick.
Don Adam right on top of the play once again. The stick came up. He doesn't waste any time calling these. Vlach goes in, Kopp's stick comes up. It looks pretty innocent. That stick was barely over the shoulders. Kopp can't believe it, but he's the one that gets called 2 minutes for high sticking.
Maybe they've introduced a new rule for this game. If you take your stick off the ice, it's a penalty because, well, it's tough when you're down on the ice. You see it differently from people in the commentary box, but a couple of these, with the help of the replay, haven't looked that bad.
I must admit, that one looked very harmless to me, Paul. It certainly didn't look like a high stick.
The good thing about Don Adam is he's been consistent. He's calling it on both teams, and he's calling at the same time. He sees it throughout the game. Pollock can't get on that one. It's tipped away. Hilger let his man go by. Volek gets to the far side. Serban being shadowed by Kiesling. The Germans running out of time, and Hilger hammers his man. Serban right into the boards. Serban will feel that one for a long time. Another crunch as Draisaitl feels the weight of the Czechoslovakian team against him. The shot coming from right in at close range is eventually steered back to Smelik. And now a break. Berwanger goes right in. The return pass, and why did he do that? He had a great opportunity. He fed it to the far side. He should have taken the shot. Serban brings it out to the far side. And my co-commentators calling for an offside on that play. The whistle didn't come as Slager tipped it to the far side. Coming up to the 13-minute mark, 45 seconds on the penalty. The one-timer from Volek whistles by and is batted down now. Volek. Lubina taken out of the play. The stick's getting up. The Czechs trying to get fresh legs out there. And the whistle eventually blows as Hollick touches it on the far side of the ring.
Both teams changing up. There's a pass going across from Slager. Two of the Czechs are on their way off as it is. That one didn't look like offsides. The one prior to that, Hollick turned around, had his back to the German goal. His body was over the line. He carried the puck in with him. The puck was on the other side of the blue line, and they let that one go and then called this one. Oh well, they can't get them all right. They're only doing the best that they can.
13-12 gone in the period. 25 seconds now on the penalty. Germans still with a man down as that one is golfed high. And we'll have another face-off. Good shot there of Peter Russell. Really is an excellent stick handler. Fast skater. As I said, he's an intelligent individual player, but he is a good team player too. He has developed over the years to become more of an all-rounder than he was a few years ago. Slager got the big shot from way back, being shadowed by Hagen. Pumped into the corner. 15 seconds on the penalty behind the goal. The crowd starting to get into this game as they try to will the Germans on to come back even closer. 4-1 the score. Kopp steps out of the box. Musial takes the shot, and that's kicked away.
Dolezal going for the tip on that one. The Czechs working it back to the blue line. They really like to let the shot go from out high. There you see the pass going back. It's a one-timer for Musial. You can see Dolezal trying to get in there to get a tip on that. But Heiss has come out far enough to get a piece of it first and deflects it up into the crowd.
The Czechs got off to a really fast start in this game with Volek, Zemlichka, and Russell scoring in the first 3 minutes of play. Brandl and Tupal are in the face-off. Tupal has been asked to go, and Zemlichka takes his place. Kolnick took a swipe at that. Kopp breaks, gets it into skates, and loses control. And that goes back to Brandl. Brandl, oh, two nice moves, and then he's flattened. Some good stuff from Reznicek. Czechs with Kolnick. Kolnick trying to go around his man. Loose puck is picked up by Kammerer. Kammerer taking a bit too long in the corner. Gets some help from Kopp. Volek is doing some forechecking for Czechoslovakia. In there with Tupal, rather, is doing some forechecking for Czechoslovakia. Tupal now on the puck. Schmidt along the boards. And so many German players just standing around Kammerer, one of them waiting for the pass. No one is moving. And this goes to the far side. A lot of pressure here from the Czechoslovakian forwards. Kammerer coming up. Shoots that in and then slowly skates into the corner. Brandl spun out of the play. Eventually Kopp comes in to flatten Medrick. Kolnick rescues the situation and brings it out again. Hollick goes all the way down after Pepi Heiss. Pokone in the corner, off the boards, and again we see this time it's Berwanger standing still, just waiting on the blue line for something to happen. Hollick and Kiesling go heavily into the boards. Volek takes his man in. Berwanger to the far side, the return pass to Berwanger. Working up, goes in the opposite direction. Stick handling nicely, but not really going anywhere at all. Pokorny flips it in. Zmelik avoids one check. It's Berwanger, falls to the ice, and that's pumped to the far side. Volek decides to tip that into the neutral zone, picked up by Hollick. Hollick loses possession. Hilger to the far side. A good chance here for the Germans. Serban takes his man out of the play. That was number 28, Werner. And now the break for Czechoslovakia. They lead it by 4-1. Bolek slams on the brakes, puts it into Hollick. These guys have been out there for a long time, as has Berwanger, who intercepted that pass. On the attack now, Wrench takes the shot, and he puts it right at the goaltender. Well, I've yet to see a puck go right through a goalie. You gotta hit those corners if you want to mean business out there.
Svoboda was out far enough to take the angle away. It would have had to have been a good shot. Wrench shot it directly at the goalkeeper. There it is, a slap shot right at him. He didn't have a lot of room, but maybe had he kept it low right on the ice, he might have found a low corner.
Good shot there from Wagner. Just missing that far corner. Slager takes a slice at that. Oswald goes in. And there's some rough stuff right at the bottom of the screen there. Rumrick having a goal. And look at that for a left shot on Slager. This is developing into quite a punch-up. Rumrick wants to get the retaliation punch in there. Slager says, let me at him, let me at him.
Don Adam directing traffic. You can see him telling Oswald to get out of there. All the players, he's telling them to go to their benches, clear off, get out of the area. Rumrick and Slager are the two involved. There you see another look at it. Rumrick had hit him along the boards. A good left lead, a good right follow. It's a left. We'll do a little bit of boxing commentating here. Slager pummeling him. I think he wins on points. Rumrick isn't done yet, though, and he keeps going after him. And the linesmen take a couple shots as well.
Well, no wonder Rumrick wanted another shot at him. He took about 5 or 6 on the head.
29 White has a minor for roughing. And he has a major match.
Adam dishing out the penalties here as he speaks to the timekeeper.
Making sure he gets his terminology right. It's an international group of referees here.
Let's look at this again.
5-minute match.
Adam, how much?
5
minutes.
5-minute match.
Well, Adam is...
I think what he means to say is a 5-minute major and a match penalty. He's dishing out. Slager and Rumrick are going to be gone.
No matter how you look at it, they're out of this game. Adam is throwing everything at them but the kitchen sink. It's academic. They're out of the game. And the score is 4-1. Czechoslovakia are in the lead. The Czechs will lose one of their top defensemen. The Germans will lose Rumrick, who's seen limited action.
Oh, the players standing around. They're going to get the instruction from Adam saying go back to their respective benches and let the coaching staff know what's going on. Serban and Hagen are there, acting as diplomats for their teams.
For some reason, Adam keeps referring to his linesman out there. I would have thought that he should be in control. Slager coming out on top of that confrontation. And that's the last thing you want to see when you're a man like Slager, is one linesman taking one player. That's not fair. You don't take one guy out, you wait until both the linesmen are ready to go in and help out. While Slager's being held, the other guy, Rumrick, can pop him all over the place. You got to work as a pair out there. You go in as a team, separate the guys together. You never hold one guy and let the other guy have a free rein.
With respect to the other linesman, he was trying his hardest. He was coming from the other side of the ice to get in there. I'm sure he wasn't too keen to get involved to begin with, much less to have to come from the other side of the ice. He was a bit late, and as you said, Paul, it allowed Rumrick to get one last left in there as Slager was held by the other linesman.
Great job, eh? You're out there with hardly any equipment on. They shoot pucks at you, they hit you with the sticks, and then you're asked to stand in between two guys punching themselves to death.
with all defense to the referees. It's no easy job. It's a thankless job. It's certainly easy to be a critic. Everybody can criticize the referees, but it's not such a good task to have that black and white shirt on and be out on the ice yourself. I've played for years, and I would never put a black and white shirt on.
So Meyer and Kolnick will sit in the penalty box, and hopefully sometime today this game will continue. The score, in case you've forgotten, is 4-1. The Czechs are leading the Germans, and we're in the third period. Niederberger for Germany takes it back into his own zone, and perhaps this will get the Germans going. Who knows? That could be what they needed. Hagen, who has scored the only goal for Germany, got that one forward right in front. Draisaitl takes a swipe at it. Kammerer was there. Niederberger gets it right across now. That's right in front. Draisaitl again gets it out front. Hagen is spun out of the play, and the Germans have come back onto the ice fighting Russell in front. Medrick taken out of the play. And some good stuff by Schmidt as he takes his man down, and Germany bring themselves back into this game. Hagen now on a break. Dieter Hagen, can he do it twice to save this time from Svoboda? Hagen looking very relaxed on that play as he went in.
He was relaxed until he thought about it for a second that he'd missed the goal. Dolezal was tying him up pretty closely, and Hagen turned around and gave him a baseball swing with a stick. There's Hagen going to the penalty box. No doubt about that. You could hear it all over the rink when he whacked Dolezal with the stick. It was sheer frustration on the part of Dieter Hagen. He didn't get the goal. He was still tied up. He turned around, and if it was a baseball game, you can see this. He hit a home run with Dolezal. A full swing with the stick, right to the midsection. Dolezal takes it in stride, but I'm sure he'd like to have more time to get him back.
Face off in the neutral zone. The Czechs with Smelik coming off the ice quickly as he took a chop there. Up on the left wing, Serban working with Topal. Kiesling stays on him. The pass to the far side of the rink goes right to the blue line. Some good stuff by Medrick to keep it in. Zemlichka. Medrick to the far side. Working right in on goal, the save there. Tupal was close in. Medrick gets it into the corner. Back to Medrick. Tipped away nicely. Berwanger getting the tip. Medwick to Serban. Kiesling stays on him. Heist way into the goal. That's right in front. Tupal right there takes the shot. The goaltender's down, and Kiesling comes up with a loose puck to clear it out of the zone.
Tupal had all day out there by himself. Once the puck came to him, he didn't know what he wanted to do with it.
Over the blue now. Tupal again. Can he make up for that squandered opportunity? Tupal on the circle, gets it back to Musil. He takes the shot, the deflection into the corner. Musil again. Reznicek to Musil. Reznicek into the side of the net. Zemlichka. Reznicek. The shot is there, so is Pepe Heiss. And Heiss has been strong here in the third period.
Once again, Heiss comes up with a big save. He's going to see Czech jerseys in his sleep tonight. The red shirts are swarming all around him. Heiss has done a good job.
A lot of time being taken on this face-off. Nevesley has got a comfortable lead, but still he gets right on the players. He wants more than 100% from beginning to end. Holick in the face-off circle. The Germans still with two men off the ice. All the way back to Musil. He's got lots of time. Tees it up, takes the shot off the side of the goal. Serban races in. Tries to get it away from Niederberger, and Musil goes all the way down to his own blue line to pick it up. Schmidt goes for a little skate. Kiesling shoots it all the way down the ice. Svoboda gives it to Serban, and he'll bring it back down. Serban. Lubina straddles the blue, and offside is the call. And despite this 3-goal cushion, the Czechs are still anxious to get over the blue line and put their shots on goal.
They know at this point the game is pretty much in hand. They're in control on the far side of your screen. Hollick's desperately trying to stay on side. He can't do it.
Hilger tips that back and gets the return pass and goes behind his goal. Pokorny. The long shot in on Svoboda. He'll handle that easily. Drops it off. Time ticking away for both teams here. There goes the buzzer. That's the end of the game. The final score is Czechoslovakia 4. The West Germans, or the Germans rather, 1. And that was a good game for Svoboda.
Excellent game for Svoboda. Nearly had a shutout. He played very well throughout. Zemlichka did a good job with 2 goals tonight for the Czechs. A good performance from him, and the Czechs seemed to put it together.
Volek, Zemlichka, Russell, and Zemlichka did the damage for Czechoslovakia. Hagen was strong for just a couple of efforts out there, and he broke the shutout that Svoboda had for so long. Let's take a look at the table. At the bottom of the table, the Finns are there with 9 points, the Czechs with 6, the Swiss now have 4, and the Germans are struggling in the basement with 1.
The Germans are in trouble. They've got a long way to go, but there's certainly a couple of games they could come back with.
The Finns are starting to throw it together. They've got the backing from their home crowd, and we're going to see them this evening. Finland against Switzerland. Don't count the Swiss out. They are strong.
The Finns have their home crowd, but the Swiss are flying. They played well against the Czechs and came up with a good win.
That's 24 Central European time, 2400 hours, 2300 UK time. So until this evening, when we join you again from Richard Beaupre and myself, Paul Ferguson, bye for now. We'll see you this evening. The 1991